Good evening, everyone. A warm welcome to all of you to today's insightful webinar on the theme Bridging the Mindset Gap, Net Giver from Consumer to Contributor. We are privileged to have with us today the extraordinary professionals whose journeys embody excellence, leadership, and contribution, CA Vijay Raja and CA Dr. Divya Abhishek. So it's now my privilege to welcome our chairman committee for members in practice, CA Madhukar Hirgange, a visionary leader, a, a, a passionate mentor, and he has over 37 years of rich experience and has co-authored 37 publications, including 12 on GST. He contributes to inspire the profession with his mission to build ethical, committed leaders. Let's warmly welcome CA Madhukar Hirgange for his welcome address. Sir, over to you.
Thank you, Priyanshu, and so nice to see Vijay and Divya online, and I am waiting to listen to them. In the meantime, just a short objective of this entire bridging the mindset gap. When we were looking from the CMP committee at what all we can do to see that we have our chartered accountants ready for the global consultancy, which is one of the main objectives of this committee in the next 2-3 years. While we'll also do something for non-traditional areas of practice within India, we are looking at each and every person, whether he's in a two-tier city, she is in a two-tier city, three-tier city, be capable of giving global consultancy. We have started English written thought process. We had a webinar on that. And there is a British Council aided English course, which is around 11,000 rupees by the ICI available. I was hoping that more of our members who are looking at global consultancy would do this course. It's a 3-month course. We'll also have a 2-day course on written English, written communication, which is necessary. Other than this, our focus has been on seeing whether we can empower the chartered accountants with a knowledge which is already there. And some of our committees are very active. The AI committee, the GCC committee, and the digital transformation committee. I think the IT part of it is pretty good in our institute. And there are other committees also who are pretty active. Now, if I look at what is it that makes a chartered accountant successful, what made Vijay Raja successful, what made Divya Abhishek successful, if I were to look at that, possibly in addition to their academic knowledge, they also imbibed or learned a lot of skills far beyond the essential skills. They did the good to know skills, good to acquire skills. Other than this, you would observe when they speak that they are somewhat distinct. Their thought process itself is a bit distinct because they have looked at building their attitudes, wonderful attitudes, which are making them pleasing for the person with whom they interact. Other than just pleasing, it has made them successful in their respective fields. I remember maybe about 10 years back, my son was doing CA and he was a fan of our Vijay Raja. So this is the, what I would say, impact of a teacher. He didn't think much about me. Of course, after that, he joined the profession. Maybe he now feels I may be equal or little less than Vijay Raja. So the point which is there is that all of us here, who all are called here, are going to be people with wonderful attitudes, which has helped them. And today they will tell us what is it, what is that one thing or two things which are good which worked for them, along with their life examples. And all of you will have a chance to ask them a few questions after that. I am also waiting to listen to them, and therefore I will hand over back to Priyanshu. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring welcome address and for setting the perfect tone for today's webinar. So now I welcome to our first speaker. It gives me an honor to introduce him, and he's CA Vijay Raja. CA Vijay Raja, chartered accountant and a rank holder who has further distinguished himself as a cost accountant with an All India third rank, a law graduate with first rank at the state level, a company secretary, and an insolvency professional. An exceptional academic throughout his journey, reflecting his consistent pursuit of excellence. With more than 3 decades of experience, he has guided and mentored thousands of professional and chartered accountancy students and numerous professionals across the country. His expertise spans taxation, corporate laws, finance, and GST, and he has authored widely appreciated publications on corporate and economic laws. He has been a resource person for leading organizations and professional bodies across India, sharing knowledge and motivating thousands. What truly defines him, however, it has it is his passion and mentoring and inspiring individuals to grow not just in their careers but also in their mindset, to move from being mere consumers of knowledge to contributors of value. We are indeed privileged to have him with us this evening, CA Vijay Raja. Sir, over to you.
Thank you so much. Happy afternoon to all of you. I think happiness is from the mindset. And I think it's so apt that the Institute has also called this as how do we bridge the gap in the mindset? Because I used to remember every time I used to tell happy morning, people used to come and tell me, what is happy today? Do you know so much of problems are there in office? Do you know so much of issues are there in traffic? Do you know what all problems are there? And you're talking about happiness. What is that to be happy? So everything starts with the mindset. I'm so happy for this session being conducted by ICAI. I think it's very unique because we've all been used to being part of sessions which are always technical. But then there's something called as icing on the cake. The cake will taste better if there are certain things which is iced on it. And I think these skills, what we are trying to understand, the soft skills part and the other aspects of it, I think makes all the difference in the true growth of a professional. I always believe that the greatest attitude a person should have is gratitude. And therefore, I start with my gratitude to my alma mater CA Institute, because whatever I am today is because of the Institute. Somebody used to ask me, well, what do you mean Institute? You only studied, you only did everything. I said, yeah, I studied, I did everything. But if Institute was not there, at what level Institute is, who would really care if I say I'm a chartered accountant? Right? I think the value comes from the fact that the profession, the professional body is giving us that higher altitude and higher altar for what we are. So thank you so much, ICAI, for giving us that pride to call ourselves as professionals, to call ourselves as one of those service providers in the society to help the society to grow. So having said that, let me delve into this topic of net contributor. Before I can talk about being a contributor, I think if we just take it in literal sense, we all know who is a contributor, right? The one who contributes, and we say net. And we as chartered accountants are very good in using these concepts, saying that profit, then we'll immediately ask which profit, gross profit or net profit. So when we say contribution, what contribution? Gross contribution, net contribution. So that kind of terminologies, I think we're already very good at. I would like to start with giving clarity on 3 C's, is what I call it as. The first C for discussion is clarity at the mind level. So what I mean by clarity at the mind level, we all need to understand about one aspect where many of them used to always tell me, oh, everything is fate. Whatever is already written, that only will happen. What I do, what I don't do, how does it matter? So I used to always tell that we are all co-authors of our own futures. So what do I mean by we are the co-author of our own future? When I said the sentence that we are the co-authors of our future, somebody said, no, God has already decided everything. I said, you're right. God has decided, and in his decision, he has written the next page, I want you to decide. So it is still his decision, but he has told you saying that the next page I want you to fill up in your life. So it's also beautifully told, saying that with the energy that is there, to give it as an example, I used to always say, electricity is there, but how we use the electricity is still in my control. So the energy of the divine is always there, but the how I use is still in my control. Whether I want to use it in the form of a bulb, or in the form of a light, in the form of a refrigerator, in the form of something else, or put my fingers and get a shock, is still what is in my control there. So energy is coming. So the cosmic energies are always there. How do I use it? So true with all our lives. God has given us our life, or the cosmic force has given us this life. What are we going to do with it? I think we still have a role to play as a co-author of what we can do and how we want to use it. Having said that we are the co-author, fine, as a co-author, what can I do? It all depends on the other C. The first C I told you was being the co-author. The other C I would call it as is consciousness. In psychology, there are 2 parts of consciousness, we say. One is the conscious mind, another is the subconscious mind. As an example, I'm sure all of you can relate with what I'm saying. First time when we started to learn how to drive a bike, we were so conscious, isn't it? Where is accelerator? Where is brake? Oh, this side is clutch. Gear is which one? First gear, second gear. Which side is brake? We were very conscious when we were driving. So that means it's our conscious mind which was working there, isn't it? Whereas after a few years, today when you're driving your bike, you would have seen that side what board is there, this side what traffic is going on. Then you're busy sometimes, some of them listening to some music. You don't even know how you drove from your home to office or office to home. When you applied brakes for the speed breaker, when did you change the gears? Probably you had not even thought about it. Everything is happening automatically. How did that happen? There's something called as a subconscious mind, isn't it, for all of us? Wherein once from the conscious mind, some things go and sit in our subconscious mind, it becomes our attitude, our nature, as to how we start living our life depends upon from the conscious mind what has gone and sat in the subconscious mind. Third aspect of this, I'll link all the 3 together at the end. First, I said we are the co-author of our future. Second, I said it's our conscious mind and subconscious mind, and what sits in our subconscious mind. In psychological science, they say the beauty of subconscious mind is it is 7/8 stronger than the conscious mind. That means if our conscious mind is 1 horse, we have got 7 more horses, which is the subconscious mind, which is 7 times stronger. That means more than what I can tell. Now, as I'm speaking to you, I'm using my conscious mind. As you're hearing to me, you're also using your conscious mind as to what you're trying to understand from here. Now, this is all at the conscious level, which is only 1/8 of the capability of the mind. But the 7/8 of the capability is the subconscious mind. So what goes and sits in our subconscious mind? Subconscious mind never understands what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. All that is understood by the conscious mind. Then what does subconscious mind understand? It only understands deep emotions. So for whatever you attach deep emotion, that is what goes and sits in the subconscious mind. So it all depends upon what have I attached my deep emotions. That's why when some of them ask me, Why are some people bad? Why are some people good? I said it's all depending upon what is attached as a deep emotion for them. So they'll just follow what is the deep emotion. What is the role of the subconscious mind? Whatever is our deep emotion, the subconscious mind will always try to repeat those aspects in future for our life. So if you have associated deep emotion towards success, oh yes, it will start giving you enough of opportunities to become more and more successful. You've attached deep emotion towards doing good to somebody and you get a lot of joy in doing that, oh, the life will give you 101 opportunities to do good. We can start linking. What we attach is what we get back. There's a popular saying, isn't it? What we sow is what we reap. So what we tell in psychological sciences, what is sowed into our subconscious mind is what we start reaping through the conscious mind. When it comes to this clarity that I am the co-author of my own destiny, when it comes to the clarity of it's all about what's going deep inside my subconscious mind, with these two comes this aspect of how I'll behave in future. I asked somebody, are you a contributor? Immediately my friend said, yes. I asked him, what do you contribute? Oh, I contribute a lot of tension to my office people. I contribute a lot of stress on my team members. So what are we contributing? Positive, negative, but we still contribute. When we talk about environment, as a society, what are we contributing? Pollution? Yeah, probably that's what we are contributing as an entire society, saying that, yeah, we're contributing towards pollution. Right, wrong is not the discussion here. The question is how I live my life. So the third C becomes important, that is circle of influence. When we talk about contribution, first thing I always believed is contribution need not always be money. So when we say, hey, are you doing contribution? Are you a contributor? Contributor, yes, one of the ways of doing contribution is in the form of money. But I think there are so many ways in which we all can contribute. I always believed that we can be amazing contributors in various other ways also. Knowledge. Once we have developed knowledge, I think we can contribute by sharing that knowledge with as many as possible. So when everyone used to ask me saying that, how come you still find time to go and teach? I said, look, if there is some knowledge that we have got, I think it's our duty to go and share with as many people as possible. Experiences. Whatever experiences we have got in our life, if we can contribute those experiences to as many people as possible, who told us saying that don't put your hand into fire? It's not that we all of us put our hands into fire, burnt our hands, then only realize, oh, we should not put our hands into fire. No, somebody told us by their experiences, hey, don't put your hand into fire, it'll burn you. And that experience was good for us. We learned from it. I said, okay, I don't have to burn my fingers to understand that aspect. So for all of us also, we all have our journeys of right and wrongs. We all had our journeys of good and bad. If we can share it with as many as possible, saying that this is what can make a difference and this is the consequence of whatever actions we took, I think that can make a world of difference to us. So the clarity, if I have of these three C's, clarity itself is a C. If we have clarity of three C's, and that is about the fact that I can co-author my destiny, I can ensure that I shape my subconscious mind with the help of my conscious mind, and I work on my circle of influence. So when I say I can work on my circle of influence, what is the circle of influence and circle of concern? Driving the bike or driving the car, huge traffic is there, or somebody comes in the wrong lane and cuts through. Is there something I can do about him? We will shout at him, scream at him, ... We'll tell some bad words. What's the point? They're all part of my circle of concern. There's nothing I can do about it. But what is circle of influence? What I can do in those moments is still in my control. When it comes to even charity, this is my personal opinion as to charity. I used to always tell my friends saying that when it comes to giving charity, I'm not somebody who believed in giving some money at the signal light to somebody there. Somebody used to say, hey, how come you're okay to give so much money for so many charitable causes, but you're not willing to give a rupee at a signal light? I used to say, that's my definition of charity. He said, what? I said, my definition of charity is I'll give a rupee or a 10 rupee at a signal light to a beggar. What have I done? He continues to be a beggar. After 10 seconds later, I've actually not changed his life at all. Except for my ego satisfaction, there's nothing more I have done. But then, the same charity, if I use it to educate my driver's son, to educate the security guard's son, to educate the office maid's son, or to the coffee provider who comes there and gives, and therefore their children, I think I've changed the next generation itself. Having said that, so my circle of influence, let's talk about my circle of influence in office. Who is our circle of influence in office? Number one, our clients. And what do clients expect? Good service. Am I contributing? Of course, I'm an amazing contributor, because we are all contributing by providing the service to our clients. But then let's talk about it a little bit from marketing point of view, okay, and economics. If we have money, let's say 10,000 rupees, why will I part with my money of 10,000 to somebody else unless and until I know what I'm going to get in return is valued more than 10,000? Which means the mindset for any consumer is, am I getting more than what I'm parting with? So which means the thought process of any consumer, this is what we generally tell in marketing strategies, saying that a consumer always expects more than the money's worth. That should be the perception. So that means even when we are talking about doing a difference to anybody else as a service, am I trying to give more than what he believes is the worth of it? And how do I justify that? It's purely based on the experiences I can create for them. What kind of experiences I'm creating for them? Providing a service is one. Somebody is hungry, I'm giving them the food. But what's the point if I'm not giving them the food when they were hungry? I'm giving it some other time. So somebody wants my service, or let's say, like a doctor, we always say, what's the point of doing the operation when the patient is already dead? I think the operation has to be done when it had to be done. So I think one of the services, we should feel the pride in us saying that, hey, if something has to be done within time, you want it within so and so time, I'm giving it to you within so and so time, is my contribution to you. I'm definitely contributing to all my clients, isn't it? We're all, when I say I mean we are all contributing that way to ensure that things are happening on time. There is a contribution. To whom? To the circle of influence and not to the circle of concern. What's happening? The road is not okay. There are too many potholes in the road. It's my circle of concern, because directly I'm not able to do anything. Oh, really? It should become my circle of influence. Then I think I should be an influential person or become one of those ministers and then try to do something about it. Otherwise, I have no right to talk about it, isn't it? Oh, I don't think things are okay at so and so aspects. Okay, if I'm not happy about it, I have to get into it and try to make a change there. Otherwise, we can't stay outside of it, being part of a circle of concern and say, I think things are not okay, until we take it up in our own hands. All this was on clarity part. Okay, fine. I also want to be a good contributor. How much can I contribute? Whatever can I contribute? Okay. To be a contributor of anything, there is another C, and that is called capability. Unless and until I develop my capability itself, I will have to split that word, saying that capability as cap on my ability. If there is a cap on my ability, then where is that capability? We need to understand that the moment we are willing to move out of our comfort zone, we can actually actuate and realize our true potentials and capabilities. So what do you mean beyond our comfort zone? No, I've always been filing income tax returns. Correct. That was okay at one point of time in our career. But the way technology is moving forward, now I can't keep telling that, oh, no, my capability was only to fill up the return and file the return. I think those days are gone. No, I was always filling up the GST form. That will, with all the automations happening, that will go. No, I'm always good in doing this particular aspect only. No, our capabilities has to be enhanced by moving beyond the comfort zone. So what do we mean by moving beyond the comfort zone? So many, institute itself has got, I think, hundreds of initiatives that is taken up. Even that simple capability of me to even go and check what all is there itself is good enough to understand what all can be done, what all possibilities are there, what all we can achieve through that. In Kannada, since I'm from Karnataka, in Kannada there's a saying, it says, Jana change keltare. That means people always ask for a change. And we need to be the change. And unless we're willing to change, that attitude shift will never happen. So I say, if I have to develop my capabilities, I need to take care of 3 C's in my capabilities itself. And what are the 3 C's in the capability? 1, I should not cap my abilities. 2, I have to go beyond the comfort zone. We're all in our comfort zones. We have to go beyond the comfort zone. Somebody asked me one question. Oh, what is the future of CA? With AI coming in, if it's going to do everything, then what will I do? If the same, I think we had the similar thoughts during our articleship days also, isn't it? Calculator came only, we started to worry. Oh, calculator has come, then who will know mathematics now? Everything calculator is going to do. Before, we only used to calculate mentally. Now, what will happen to that mental capabilities? Nothing happened. Calculator came, nothing happens to us. Then suddenly when computerization started, we all did our articleship when even computerization was not there yet. So when computers came, everybody said, oh, gone. Our role is gone. Computerization has come. Nothing happens. We are there. So at every stage of evolution, first threat will come. Oh, something has come. I think I'm out of my business. Oh, I think profession is gone. Nothing will happen. Then what is I'm supposed to do? I need to start going beyond my comfort zone. I should ensure that my abilities are not capped and my capabilities are continued to grow. And I have to change. What does not change does not grow. What does not grow dies. If a seed remains as a seed, it'll die. It has to change into a sapling. A sapling remains as a sapling, it'll die. It has to change into a tree. I think for all of us, we have to keep changing, keep evolving. Only then we develop our capabilities. And coming to the last part of it, I spoke on clarity, 3 aspects of clarity. I spoke on capability, 3 aspects of capability. Coincidentally, everything had C's. And the last part is we need to have courage. This C makes all the difference, the courage. The courage to be a giver also requires courage. To say a sorry requires courage. Now, what is there in that? No, it is there. If I have the empathy that for me, the relationships are more important than the activity or the issue that happened, then I need to have the courage. Doesn't matter who is right, who is wrong, but I want to hold on to that relationship. I will never think twice to say a sorry. So what is the courage that is required here? The courage to be a contributor actually is a courage. Why? Right from childhood, we've always been consumers. We are born dependent on our parents. That's how life starts. Dependent on the doctors to be born. And then the teachers. Without the role of our teachers, we would have not learned anything at all. So we are always consuming. We are consuming the society non-stop. But then when do we again now become a contributor? So we reach a stage in life wherein we say, yeah, I think now I will contribute. I remember one of my friends telling me, see, after I become rich, I will contribute. After I become big, then only I will contribute. So I used to tell them, attitude is what makes all the difference, isn't it? So the beautiful statement that is, attitudes do not care where you shape them. It will eventually shape your life. What does that mean? It's not that only if I have X, I will do a contribution. With what I have, I can still start from where I can start. Blood donation is an amazing contribution because nobody can replace. In spite of all the technological developments, we don't know how to manufacture blood, do we? Right now, we run. Hey, somebody wants O positive, somebody wants AB, somebody wants this, somebody wants that. It's a contribution. So what are we talking about saying that only when I become very big in life, I will contribute? There are 100 ways in which I can still contribute. 5 good sentences to the other person is a contribution. Instead of criticizing, if we talk 5 good things about somebody, it's a contribution. Motivating somebody saying that, hey, it's okay, I know you're down, but I think there is a beautiful future. We've all gone through this. You can do this is a contribution. Motivating somebody to grow is a contribution. Sharing our experiences and telling you can do this is a contribution. Sharing positive energy is a contribution. Where we are we only adding negative energies there, or are we adding positive energies in where we are? Is a contribution. We can be amazing contributors if we have the courage to contribute. It just requires a courage. Do I have the attitudes to do it? I think that's good enough. Now let me sum up all the C's that I've spoken on. The first C was about having the clarity. Clarity of what? Having the clarity of being the fact that I am a co-author of my destination and I can decide what I want to do. Being very clear about my consciousness. And we are all an evolving consciousness. It's just a matter of, like this, I take a decision. I think I can change from today itself. And where should I start with? I should always start with the circle of influence. Where I can influence someone, that is where I should first start with. Our own team members in office is a circle of influence. Our own employees are circle of influence. Our clients are circle of influence. Our own vendors from whom we buy. It can be stationery that we are buying. It can be anything. All of them are part of a circle of influence. So when we talk about ESG implementations, when we talk about reporting aspects, what are we talking about? Actually, we're talking about the entire chain of circle of influences. When we say stakeholders are nothing but circle of influence, what we have. With this clarity, we talked about the capabilities, which had again the 3 C's of ensuring I don't cap my abilities, that is the capability part. Comfort zone, not sitting in our comfort zone. If we have to be adaptable to the changes, or we have to be ready to change. And I told you, change itself is the biggest constant today. And for doing all this, we need courage. Courage of positiveness, courage of sharing what we know. I think we need to keep doing what we can do. Having said all this, let's come to the truth, reality. And what is the truth and reality? Everybody will not do everything. That's the reality. Even if 10% of us take up the responsibility of becoming the custodian. Custodian of what? Custodian of ensuring a good culture continues. Custodian of ensuring a good future is thought for. Everybody doesn't think of everybody. We're all thinking about I, me, myself. Is it wrong? No, nothing wrong. There is nothing right or wrong here. It's all about how we perceive ourselves. So 10% of us, if we take the responsibility saying that, can we do something more? And that's how it all started. Having got all the qualifications personally, just to talk about myself, having acquired all the qualifications, the first thought I got was, hey, if I have been successful in all my academic qualifications, there must be something working right. So why don't I contribute this to as many people as possible? And that's how took up teaching, saying that can I now pass it on to as many and say, hey, this is what I felt was my secret of success. And I would like to share it with as many as possible and contribute for their betterment. I think same way in every aspect of what we do. That's what we do in office, isn't it? When a client comes, we tell him, hey, with my experience of what we have seen in this particular case, I think you should not do this. Please don't do this. It will not be good. So we are sharing, we are contributing the way we can towards the experiences that we have gained. Custodians of what? Custodians of the future of our profession, custodians of future of our economy, custodians of future. Now, what is being done now is also talking about the future only. How we can equip ourselves towards our future. If we can start thinking about how we can change, and that will make a world of difference to all of us. So when I was asked the question, what do you think is your most important quality? I said, I think I'm a contributor. And more than one way, we've always been contributing. To the economy also, we've been great contributors. We are the ones who have been helping in compliances. I think we are contributing in ensuring compliances happen. Somebody has to help in compliances, right? We are helping in all the compliances. Just to conclude, from my side, unless there are some questions to take up, I'll be happy to take up those questions. We have all been contributors in one way or the other, and we've always been consumers in one way or the other. And that's why the topic so beautifully says net contributor. That means, like how they say, between the carbon emissions and the oxygen, which one is the higher part? Both will always be there. Which is the higher part? I grow more trees so that the oxygen is there more, or we still continue to drive. So will we say we'll stop driving the vehicle? No, we'll not stop driving the vehicle, right? We still have to drive. What has to be done still has to be done. But can I ensure I do something to ensure that the plus is more than the minus, and therefore the net impact of it is still a plus? So when you say net contributor, for me, my definition would be, I will continue to be a consumer in this world. Obviously, I'm not a solo. I have to be a consumer of everything and everybody. I think society is helping me a lot in whatever I'm doing. Even if I'm wearing something, I have not manufactured this shirt. Somebody has manufactured it, and therefore it is his contribution. If we are able to be there in this Wi-Fi connections, we have not done that. Somebody else has contributed to this Wi-Fi. If we are now connected together, I think Sea Institute has contributed for us to get together now. So we'll continue to be a consumer, no doubt about it. We'll always be a consumer. So having said that, we are always a consumer. Then what are those conscious ways in which I can start ensuring that from my side, what have I done? We all do it. I think I'm sure most of them I've been seeing that we have been doing it, but are we doing it beyond what we consume is what we should keep calculating all the time. If it is money, beautiful, because what money can do, money alone can do. Education, I am a strong believer saying that the only way to eradicate poverty is by educating the next generation. If one generation is out of poverty, then from there onwards, by giving education, the next generations will never be under poverty, because educated will ensure that his family is taken care. And I think that's where the beauty of all the educational institutions, I always salute, that we are helping in ensuring that poverty is eradicated through education first. And with our good deeds, we'll continue to do this. For office, yes, we'll continue to do this. I think in every aspect of it, let's continue to be an amazing contributor. Let's give more. And today's the word of business is always experience. So what do you mean experience? We have to create those amazing experiences to people around us. To our people at office, what is the work environment are we creating? Are we creating a happy environment? Coming to office should be a joy. Working should be a joy, not as a necessity or evil, but I can't avoid it. I think the joy we should create in our offices, the environment to come, the joy for a client to work with us. Am I able to create the joy for a client? Hey, it's a joy to work with you. Otherwise, we'll always listen to one standard dialogue. हाँ पैसा दिया ना, I have given you money. हाँ तो हमने पैसा दिया, आपने काम किया, हो गया ना. Then we're not creating those experiences at all. And creating that experience is our contribution. Hey, you know what? It's a joy to work with you, and that's the what we need to get it. Family. I think at family levels, if the joy is there, saying that, hey, you're there at home, I think that adds to, without you, the joy is not there. The energy, what you bring in, I think is so important. We can always contribute happiness into our families. We can contribute peace of mind into our families. Whatever troubles we have outside, I don't think we should come and dump it on our family. So we should still contribute towards our family, also saying that, hey, I'm contributing happiness and peace into our family. And not all those tensions what I've got from outside. In friends, are we there only to go party and eat? That's it. Or are we also contributing, saying that, hey, boss, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing to grow yourself? I think that's a true friendship, isn't it? The true friendship is highlighting to our friends, saying that, hey, if you are like this, 2 days we will enjoy, third day onwards, you will start rusting. And you need to start developing something more. I think only friend does not say, who else will tell? I think we have to keep telling them, hey, you have to upgrade yourself. You have to upskill yourself. In fact, we always tell, I ask somebody, hey, why did you join this network? So there are many networks keep happening, right? Hey, why did you join this network? No, so that I'll get this, I'll get that, I'll get this. So I told him, if everybody starts thinking, I will get, then who will give? Somebody also has to give, right? So anything can work only if there's a combination of give and take. So if all of us go with a mindset of giving, then automatically others will get, right? If 10 of us go with an attitude saying we'll all give, which means the other person is receiving it. But if all 10 of us go there saying that I'll only receive, then who is going to give? There is nothing free in this world. I strongly believe that there is nothing free in this world. And somebody told me, no, in the temple, in that mosque, in the church, they give prasadam free. I said, I'm sorry. Somebody has paid. Somebody has contributed, saying that today's Annadanam I'm paying. So somebody has paid, therefore you got it. So the fact is nothing is free. And for all of us also, if we have been getting so many things as consumers, we need to understand nothing has come free. We have to give it back. And to end in spiritual context, we say the role of karma. If I have to gain those good karmas, in spirituality, it's said that only when you start giving back for what you have gained, only then you get that spiritual solace, and that alignment happens. Even if you don't believe in God, I think we have no choice but to believe that there is an energy working, and that energy will be aligned only if we learn to give. And I told you, very easy. Say 10 good things about somebody. I think you're being a wonderful giver. From today, let's practice. Let good make more noise than the bad. Every media talks about bad, isn't it? Let's start making good make more the noise. Amazing sessions will be there. Now, for example, now these sessions are happening. Hardly we will forward to anybody. If there is some scam happened, something happened, oh, full forward. So I think we have to start as a contributor. Am I contributing the positives or am I negatives? Let's start contributing all the positives and the good. Let good make more noise than the bad. I think that will create a beautiful world for ourselves. Thank you all. Love you. Remember all these C's, what I've spoken to you. I think that will make a world of difference. Thank you so much. Thank you for this opportunity. Love you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for the exceptionally inspiring session, sir. So your clarity of thoughts, the depth of your knowledge, and the passion you bring to the profession have left us enriched and deeply motivated. Thank you so much, sir. So now we'll go with the second speaker. So she is our distinguished second speaker of today is
Priyanshu,
yes,
questions
sir.
you should see, na? Anybody wants to
Questions?
ask?
Not right now, sir.
Hmm?
Not right now.
It has not come?
No, sir.
No.
It
Then
has
I
not.
would like to add something
Yeah,
because
sure.
this is my favorite subject too.
Yeah.
So I would like to add to what Vijay Raja has said. First of all, I totally agree with him. I'm just going to add or cement what he has said. In my life, up to the age of 42 or 40, I was not a giver at all. I had done some writing, book I had written with Raghuraman, who is a Supreme Court advocate today. But I don't think beyond that I was doing much. And the impact was that I didn't have a great group of friends. Family was also not that happy. Financially, I was not doing well. I was a proprietor with about 7, 8 people. And I had a lot of stress. I had a heart attack before I was 40, and then I was diagnosed with uh, heart disease, very serious. But then there was a search by me, and after that search, I ended up with only one point, which Vijay Raja also touched. Me, myself till now, and I became others from the age of 42. So I served my employees, and then I never had and never have till today any problem about articles in my offices, whether my office is in Raipur or it is in Guwahati. Our office always gets enough of people coming to learn and develop themselves. So we serve the people who join our office, and they serve us obviously and very well. When they serve us, automatically the person work is done in client's place. So we serve our clients. So after that time, whenever we have kept on serving clients, the return, the referrals, the additional work given by the clients has ensured that we are uh, multiplying our gross. Vijay Raja said, that what you sow, so shall you reap. This is a this is an infallible natural law. It just cannot happen otherwise. If I give love, affection to Priyanshu, Priyanshu has no choice. Whatever he wants, he will have to love me back. He'll have to have affection for me. If I respect him, he will have no choice but to respect me back. This is what nature is about. One or two things which I thought that, is a wonderful thing which it was talked about by Vijay Raja. He has actually accessed the universal knowledge, as I can make out. And the point about the subconscious, the more you build your subconscious, the more you will get intuition. You don't require reason. You will be getting direction, what to do. He also talked about the attitude. Attitude is equal to altitude. Otherwise, you will be average. Not that anything is wrong with being average, but if you got a great attitude, your altitude is unlimited. He also talked about education, which is also my pet subject. In our office, we take care of around 5,000 children in about 8 schools. Personally, also, I take care of that circle of influence that is in our office, the employees' children. I am staying in a villament type of place. Every child of the security and every child of the housekeeping, we take care of their fees to some extent. Not only that, we have gone beyond it also. Not only in the circle of influence, beyond the circle of influence. That means we do something for some children in a school in Sirsi, which has no connection to me. They have nothing to do with me. Then all these 8 schools we have, none of them have anything to do with our office, except that our office staff go to share the uniforms, if any given, notebooks are given, and a few of them have joined our office also and become chartered accountants. But that has nothing to do with, we are not sourcing them. Out of some 3,000 or 4,000 who have made their life, stood on their own feet, 3 of them joined our office, and none of them are with us today. One of them is there with us today. So the point is, even beyond the circle of influence, if you do, then you are accessing what you can say is the universe, and universe never keeps anything. Never. A human being at least may keep something. You help me, I may not help you back, or I may help somebody, or I may not. But the universe is very, very clear. It will not keep any debt. You do something without expectation, bounties come to you. This is something which I thought I should share with you all. And good karma, which Vijay Raja spoke about. When you do good karma, it can even take care of the past bad karma. Some of you who believe in the past, having an impact on you today, you will be shocked that good karma can erase the bad karma of, your ancestors. Whatever has happened, we don't know what has happened. The last thing I would like to say, Vijay Raja said, it doesn't cost anything to contribute. Jaggi Vasudev is someone I follow. And he says, when you get up in the morning, be thankful that you are alive, smile. You meet somebody outside, smile. You feel the beautiful breeze falling on your face, smile. That itself is a huge contribution. So I think I should thank Vijay Raja for touching on many things and also bringing out, that what we do, what we focus on becomes our subconscious. And he used the word success. So if you want something, nobody can deny it. Nobody on earth can deny it except yourself. So thanks, Vijay. I think I took a little of time to ask you. I thought that maybe I should ask you the most important incident in your life, Vijay Raja, which made a difference and which can make a difference in people like me and all your listeners. If you can share that, then we let you go. Of course, you can hang around till we listen to Divya, but if you're busy, you can leave. Can you do that, Vijay?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. The beauty is, to answer your question, I used to ask a question similar to this to everybody, saying that, when was the last time you did something for the first time? In the sense that something impacted you, and therefore you did something which was different from what you always did. So we call that as, when was the last time you did something for the first time? Incident will happen, and it's our response or a reaction to that incident that will decide what I will do in future, either as a reaction or as a response. So for us, for me personally, at every stage, I think there have been different instances. And thankfully, because of the responses that was done, there was a positive impact rather than a reaction, which always would have been a negative impact. So to answer one part of it, what you are saying, that what impacted the most, you rightly put one sentence: if I want love, I have to give love. If I want praise me, I think I have to start praising everybody. If I want others to see good qualities in me, I have to start seeing the good qualities in them. That's something which stuck to me, saying that it's straight away a mirror reflection. So what I keep giving, it bounces back to me. That is something which I realized quite early, saying that if this is what I'm doing, I'm just getting it back. It's just hitting me back. And I realized that the more I start doing what I want for myself to others, automatically I start getting all of them. So I would conclude by telling that part, saying that it's a straightforward bounce back. So I realized that if I start giving, if this is what I want, I just have to give that. And if I give that, I know I'll get that. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So we have one question. Member is asking how to control our emotions.
Fabulous. How to control our emotions. In fact, my mind is actually working now, whether I should give you a 2 marks answer, 5 marks answer, 14 marks answer, right? So, but when it comes to controlling emotions, first thing is we need to understand that emotions are divided into 2 parts. One is called positive, one is called negative. So I'll give a little, so there is more clarity in my answer. This I'm using more of psychology, that is the science of psychology, so that it's more easy to understand, right? But that science, I'm giving an answer. Man is driven by 2 concepts only, and those 2 includes women. Okay, so this is not about gender bias here. So everybody is driven by 2 concepts only in psychology, and one is called pain, one is called pleasure. And our entire attitude will always be to avoid the pain, embrace the pleasure. This is how actual human psychology works. It's all purely based on pain and pleasure. But there comes the catch. What I associate pain towards and what I associate pleasure towards is the distinguishing factor. If I'm associating pleasure towards, let us say, smoking, drinking, blah, 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 then without realizing that they were actually temporary pleasures leading to permanent pain. Reverse. Exercise, diet, right thoughts. Sometimes getting up early in the morning for the sake of exercise looks like a pain, but there are temporary pains which lead to permanent pleasures. Now, if this thought process is understood, saying that there are certain temporary pains, but it will give us permanent pleasures. Reverse, there are some temporary pleasures, but which will give us permanent pains. Now, let's talk about controlling emotion. Emotions, there is nothing called as controlling emotions. Again, purely talking about the science part of it. What it says is, we have one of the facets of our life called emotional intelligence, which we call it as the EQ, which is very popular, emotional quotient. So emotions will always be there. So how we use those emotions is what will matter. Now, if I associate pleasure towards the rightful emotions, and like what we discussed just before this, and I make it deep. Now, let me tell you what is default mode. Default mode is negative emotions are always deep. So what do I mean negative emotions are always deep? If I'm hurt and I've cried, and cried, 3 days later when I'm trying to explain what happened, I'll again cry because it was deep. I can feel that hurt again. 5 years later also, if I again try to recollect, I'll again cry. But do we do that for a joke? I'll tell you one joke now. Aha, oho, we will laugh. After you stop laughing, I'll tell the same joke again. Some of them will laugh, some of them will don't. Third, again, I'll tell the same joke. Now they start getting angry. Hey, how many times you tell the same joke and how do you expect me to laugh? Look at that. That means for something which is positive, it is very shallow. Something which is negative, by nature, it is very deep. That's the truth. Negatives are always deep, positives are always shallow. And that is where the beauty of our conscious mind to seed the subconscious mind comes into play, wherein consciously I have to ensure that I develop all the positives and make it deep. And now to answer that question about how do I control my emotions, I would rather say not controlling emotions. How do I start managing the emotions and giving it the right direction, saying that all positive emotions, I'll start making it deep. First, understanding what is positive, what is negative. Having understood that, if I can celebrate your success, this is a beautiful thing if we can all understand. If I can celebrate your success, the subconscious mind will never know whether it is your success or my success. It knows that I celebrate success. And the fact that I celebrate success, it will make me also successful because it believes that I celebrate success. If I celebrate your goodness, it does not know about whether it is your goodness or my goodness. It celebrates goodness, and therefore automatically next time also my subconscious mind will make me more good. Now coming to this controlling emotions, two answers. One simple answer which is called as by action. What is that by action? Don't react, but respond. If we can just control from reacting, take a few seconds, then automatically instead of a reaction, it will become a response. Then automatically the control will happen, to answer directly about how to control emotions. Second aspect of it, which Buddha so beautifully told, he said getting angry is like taking a burning charcoal and throwing it at the other person so that that burning charcoal goes and hits him and he's hurt. And that's called anger. And Buddha so beautifully says, you have not realized, my friend, when you took that burning charcoal to throw it at the other person, you've already burnt your hands first. So getting angry and having those negative emotions will actually first hurt us more than hurting other person. Why? Because even in science, it says it secretes acids. Every time I have a negative emotion, it secretes acid which are not good for our body. So first person to be affected by negative emotion is me. So now this is intellectual science. This is all about conscious mind. If I can start understanding all this, then automatically I'll start associating and I'll start focusing on more making my positive emotions deeper, which means through my subconscious mind, it will repeat again for myself. Is this easy? Definitely not easy. Why? Because my default mode is that negatives will always be deep, positives will always be shallow. And that's why we have to start rejoicing. Now you like something, what we spoke, now it's so beautiful. There was no need for Madhukar sir to tell that, oh, I like this sentence, what Vijay Raja told, I like this, what I told. There was no need to tell that. But why? By telling this, what's happening? One, he is making me feel nice, but more importantly, it gets reinstated into his own mind also. And that's true for all of us. You like something, if you now respond, telling that, hey, I like this point, I loved it, you are reinforcing for your own good. So we always are ready to give a comment which is negative, right? When it comes to positive, we hesitate. And that's where it comes all about how our emotions work. Anything that is nice, if we respond, hey, this was good, it reinforces for ourselves. Automatically, the emotions level will start changing. Emotions cannot be controlled, but we can ensure that positive emotions increase, negative emotions come down. I hope I have clarified this.
Yes, sir.
Madhukar sir, you're on mute.
You have done wonderfully. Yeah. I
Yes.
will just take it further. It is so nice to interact. Tool, Vijay Raja, which you can tell people later. The tool is called, you might have heard about it, working above the line. So any incident in my life, say now Vijay Raja is firing me. Assume he'll never do it, but assume he fires me, saying that Madhukar, you are so arrogant to just interrupt me. Now there are two ways in which I can take it. One, I can get angry with Vijay Raja, which is normally the way default we work, which is also called working below the line. When I will try and find reasons, like I will deny it. No, I never did it. Or I will say, this is because of my school teacher. This is because I had a bad traffic incident on the way. I'll blame somebody for it. I will not everything I will look negatively. However, I have a choice. I can say, why is Vijay Raja saying this? There must be something I have done. Then I will come to know, I will take responsibility for my action. The moment I take a responsibility for my action and say, I think what you said is correct, let me think about it. And by that time, I'll say, yeah, I got it. I think I did this to you. I should correct myself in future. Now, what is happening at the end of this? One, I have resolved the problem because I'm working above the line now. So this above the line, below the line is simply, you Google it, you'll get a whole nice matrix. Many people who have got mentored by me have simply printed out this beautiful colored, above the line, below the line. One 55-year-old chartered accountant who got mentored with me for 5 sessions. After 6 months, I asked him what was the most effective thing. He said, sir, it was that above the line, below the line. I was actually quite worried because I had spent 6 hours, 9 hours with him, and that's all he got. But anyway, that's in lighter vein. This is something which works. I think we well spent time, well answered, and you will be both of you will be shocked. There are 1,933 participants as of now. I have put a number of 2,000 when it started to Priyanshu. This is also something which may happen with Divya speaking.
Fantastic.
Over to Priyanshu. Take it over.
I'll just add one last sentence before this. Sorry. I think Madhukar sir so beautifully have told about below the line, above the line. It is about awareness. That awareness. So just for all of us, see, we're all human beings. It's a journey. So when it comes to emotions also, normally we get some of them will not get awareness only that we did something wrong. That is next level. I think we should be happy that we got the awareness. So some of them get the awareness after the incident is over, saying that I think I got angry. I should not have got angry. That's after the incident. Slowly we'll evolve ourselves from that awareness that at least I knew that after the incident that I was something wrong there. Slowly I will evolve towards saying that during the incident, I know I got angry, but still I was not able to stop it. But then once my awareness continues, I'll reach a stage wherein just before I can actually say it, I become aware, hey, I should not be doing this. And that's the transition. And it's just a matter of like how Madhukar sir so beautifully talked about below the line, above the line. If I start awareness and keep jotting it down, slowly I will start realizing saying that am I always below the line or above the line, and how many times I've been able to overcome that difference. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much. So we'll switch on to our next distinguished speaker. So we are having CA Dr. Divya Abhishek. She's a practicing chartered accountant, cost accountant, and a company secretary, and also holds a degree in MBA, LLB, diploma in International Financial Reporting IFRS from Association of Certified Chartered Accountants UK, advanced diploma in International Taxation, chartered from Chartered Institute of Taxation UK, and DLIT. A consistent rank holder, she secured All India 46th rank in CA and 23rd rank in Company Secretary. Her work has earned global recognition. She was awarded the Women Star of the Year award by SAFA as the best woman accounting professional in Asia. CA Dr. Divya Abhishek is a creative speaker, having addressed more than 3,000 meetings, delivered a TEDx talk, and featured on ET Now's Leader for Tomorrow. She has authored books on income tax, CSR, and social stock exchange, contributing valuable resources for the profession. She is equally passionate about women empowerment, leading initiatives through chambers of commerce and forums, and has been honored with several awards, including prestigious Yuva Samman Award. Today, she continues to serve in leadership positions across professional and corporate forums, inspiring countless young minds. We are honored to have her with us this evening. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Priyanshu sir, for the humbling introduction. Very good evening to one and all present here, respected members, members of the committee and organizers. It really gives me great honor and privilege to be part of this esteemed conversation on a topic that is of pivotal importance. In fact, before I start, I must say, speaking after Vijay Raja sir and Madhukar sir is a very tough task. One who has truly covered the entire gamut of what this session encapsulates. Vijay Raja sir, really drawing from your experience. And when you speak, I can see the passion which shows that you've really transformed yourself in this journey, and it is very inspiring for people like us. An esteemed professional like you, whose influence over 55,000 professionals under your helm, is not a small aspect. So, congratulations and thank you, sir. And I must thank Madhukar sir first for inviting me to be a speaker in this session. It started as a phone call. Immediately in 20 minutes, he set it into motion. It was planned 1 month ago. That is the precision to which he plans. But what I want to highlight here is this is a topic that is not very common. We have addressed several forums where you have technical sessions. So when I actually sat down to prepare for this session, by itself he was a giver to me because I learned a lot of insights along the way. And true to his role in the institute as an esteemed council member, he's done several changes and instituted these path-breaking reforms, whether in the form of events or otherwise, which is truly remarkable. Thank you very much, Madhukar sir, for having me here today and giving me this opportunity. I'm truly happy to be here. See, today I think we live in a time where information travels very fast. At a click of button, everything changes. And especially for members in practice, we have that energy, that vigor to grow 2x, 10x. Earlier, maybe during our predecessors' time, it would have taken 4 years. We want to get that done in a year's time. So at this junction, when there is so much competition, demand for services, the need to be present everywhere, it becomes very difficult for us to think outside the gamut of how do we give when we spend our whole time just executing these things. But I want to pause here and say, if our predecessors or even the people who are there in this conversation, whether it's Raja sir or Madhukar sir, if they kept thinking constantly like what their billable hours, their time would lead, then we will not have the institution that we have today. Our predecessors have gone to the roles of the councils in the institute, have transformed it. In fact, Vijay Raja sir said, today I thank the profession because without the institute positioning itself there, I am nobody. And that is what it is. Without these people who selflessly work towards the profession, whether at the helm of the council or at the policy making or otherwise, we will not have what we have today. So that bent of mind to serve the society is very integral for anyone who has scaled their paths of life and success. And when I talk about that, it reminds me of a scenario that happened. Now, Sardar Vallabhai Patel was declared as the Home Minister. He traveled abroad. And when he traveled abroad, he had to preside over a world medical conference. He was the judge of that conference. So when he entered the hall, the entire room was divided into two. One half were allopathy doctors who vehemently said allopathy is the true medicine and allopathy doctors represent real medicine. And the other side of the hall is vehemently saying, no, it is homeopathy. We are a natural medicine. We represent true medicine and we should win this competition. Now, Sardar Vallabhai Patel has to make a decision and declare who the winner of that conference is. He goes up on the podium and he says, yes, I've heard all the arguments, very valid, but it is not about homeopathy or allopathy. What a patient truly wants is empathy and sympathy. And while, that is such a profound way, what is important is yes, you can serve, you can give balance sheets, you can make new services. But what a person truly needs is the person needs to be heard at a very basic level of empathy and sympathy. And when we do that, the more we focus on the society, the more we give, we realize we receive a lot more. They say people don't care how much you know unless they know how much you care. Benjamin Franklin said, when you're good to others, you are best to yourself. And those words cannot be truer because the more you do, the more you work, the more people see you and they appreciate for who you are and what you have done in your life. See, just last week, I had a very interesting incident. I had ordered some product online. It was from a small vendor. So after I received the product, I was just telling my family members, it was such a pleasant experience, the entire process of ordering, receiving it. I had some questions. Whenever I pinged, the vendor immediately responded. She made the changes. After I got delivery of the product, there was a small defect, which I highlighted and said, in future, be careful. Immediately, she said, no, here, take a discount code for all my future purchase. You can use it. And I was so impressed with the entire, how she positioned, how she sent the product, customized it. I referred her to many friends and family, and it was a very, very pleasant experience. And what I realized from this small, normal experience that all of us go through is, maybe if I had gone to a shop, maybe if I had ordered this product online, I'd have not had that kind of interaction or an experience with the vendor. But more importantly, my satisfaction from that product receipt was not the product, was not the quality, was not the fact that she gave me a discount, was from the aspect that this person, small vendor, was beyond her call of duty. Even after she sold, her act is done, she received the money. She didn't stop there. She came back and said, there's a defect, I'll give you a discount, I'll take care. That matters. So what I realize is, even from a transaction of sale, which is purely transactional in nature, you can stand to benefit and be a giver and make that change. We assume whenever we talk about givers, when I read this topic, immediately I thought about charity. But that is not so. You need not have an NGO to really be a giver. In every operation you do, you can make a difference of how you see it. Yes, as a business owner, as a professional, making profit, that single minded focus is extremely important. But what is also important in today's world is only that will not get you so far. You need to have so many more aspects. Now, when I talk about single minded focus, it reminds me of a very funny story. See, a train was going in a railway track, and suddenly it went away from the track into the paddy field, and about 250 people died on the spot. So it's a big national issue. They have conglomerated, they are now investigating what is happening. So a panel is constituted by the railway authorities, and they're examining what really happened. So they first call the person who was driving the train, the driver, and said, yes, please tell us, how did this happen? It was such a shock. Were there any technical issues? Were there any defect? So immediately the driver says, sir, actually what happened was, sir, I was going in the track only. But one person came and stood in between the track. So immediately, these pandas, they're getting wild, very angry, saying, are you a fool? If it is only one person, you should have run over him. And then you should have driven so that the other passengers are safe. To that immediately he said, sir, do you think I am a fool? 27 years I've driven this train. I was going to run over him, but he ran into the paddy field. So I followed him. So what happens here is, you have such a single-minded focus that you need to run over that person that you don't even see whether he's on the track or off, that the other people who travel with you. So it's extremely important that we have that mindset of, yes, we need to achieve this, but who all we need to carry along in order to be able to achieve that is critical. Now let's talk about our own CPE seminars. How many of us here have read a book or attended a seminar in the last 6 months? And I'm sure since we have 2,000 participants, a lot of us would have done that. We've had regional conferences, several aspects, including this. But let me follow up and ask you another question. How many of you here, after you listened to that lecture or that conference, went back and told 5 people what you learned, made notes and revised it? Now, if you are someone who does that already, then already you are becoming a contributor. But more often than not, we might not do that. And that's where the difference lies. The difference does not lie in the fact that you heard the session. It lies in the fact that whether you went and dispersed that knowledge to somebody else. Now, when we talk about all these words, there are just 3 kinds of people. One, consumers who take us. Second is a contributor. And third is a net giver, which is what the topic says. Now, when you are a consumer, you only think about what you can gain. And Vijay Raja sir also touched upon that. You go to a company, you work because you want to earn the salary. You go to a conference, you listen to it 2 ways. One, either you want to speak soon, or second, you want to learn from it and apply that. The second is someone who contributes. And that person is always like, what can I add? Maybe in a workplace, yes, he works for the salary, but he mentors people below his line. He tries to bring in some clients. He tries to add value constantly. Now, the third segregation, which is the net giver, it is not about a transaction. He's not about giving or taking. He's someone who's profound to say, how can I leave a positive impact wherever I go? They don't just look at building their career, they try to build a legacy. And yes, it is very easy to talk about these terms, but you realize the more you are aware, the more you consciously practice it, the more you evolve as a person. And we all run practice, where members in practice, we go to the industry, we come across several employees. Now, in your own firm, you might have one or two favorite employees, right? You might prefer to just give them a call if something were to go wrong, you need to get work done. And more often than not, these employees who are a little bit more favored are not the employees who are perfect on paper. Their education qualification or rank or whatever it is does not hold as much value as their attitude does. Whether they're able to show up beyond their call of duty, when you have something that needs to be done, whether you have the comfort to know that they will still come and do it to their fullest of commitment. So, very often, even though we start as consumers, we assume that yes, I work towards this, I will get this benefit. Over a period, your attitude start determining whether you're able to really make that shift. And we assume that yes, I worked, I have to get this, I have to move ahead. But what we don't realize is opportunities knock at the most unexpected moments. In fact, let me tell you a story that happened. See, a mother in law had 3 son-in-laws. Now, she wanted to test if the son-in-laws were loyal to her. So first she goes on a walk with the son-in-law. She goes near the lake. And the son-in-law next to she jumps into the river. So immediately, without even giving it a thought, the son-in-law jumps, rescues his mother-in-law. She's very happy that he's done that. Next day, she gives him a Maruti car. Now the next day, she wants to test the second son-in-law. So again, she walks with him to the same place. They're walking in the morning. She jumps into the lake. The son-in-law also, without thinking, immediately rescues her. Mother-in-law is very happy about her choice, so she gives the son-in-law a bike, Hero Honda bike. Now, unfortunately for this mother-in-law, the third son-in-law is a professional. He's a chartered accountant. He studied economics, law of diminishing utility. He's thinking, okay, first son-in-law got a car. So third day he goes with the mother-in-law. Mother-in-law jumps again into and you start changing yourself from a contributor. Who makes that contributor to people who leave every place, every community, every person better than how they found. Now take the case of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's not only a brilliant scientist, he evolved into a teacher, a motivator, and someone who changed the whole nation. He carried the reins of our nation itself. That is the evolution. So we think that how do I today become that? You don't need educational degrees. You don't need a work experience. What you do need to do is you need to start at home in small ways. It's a conscious practice that you do every single day. Vijay Raja sir touched upon several mindset shifts that you can have. But if you consciously start practicing it, you will realize you'll get there. In fact, there was a study where they did a survey for about 30,000 people to understand which bucket most people fall under, whether they are givers, whether they are takers. And the study results showed that most people are matchers. What do I mean by that? It means that to the extent you give, you receive back. It's a quid pro quo situation for you. Most people follow that route of, okay, I'm giving, in future I get it back, and that balances itself. But is that the most effective way you live life? Now, let's take a scenario of Steve Jobs. Now, he was the co-founder of Apple. He was a dropout from college. And during that time, he was just curious. He had a lot of time. So he went and attended calligraphy classes. It is nowhere related to technology. It's nowhere related to what he does, but he still did it. He enjoyed it. But where that impacted was the first time the Macintosh was released, it was the first instance where calligraphy and typography was used, which consumers started bringing, and it revolutionized the entire personal computing. What I want to say here is Jobs Steve Jobs started as a consumer of knowledge. He went there to learn calligraphy. He had no intention of using it or benefit from it, but he knew where he had to apply it. And when he applied it, he contributed, but ultimately he changed the entire world of technology using something so simple. So today, maybe by you attending this session, maybe you get 2 points, maybe you get 3 points. By you attending or doing whatever it is that you do purposefully in a conscious manner, you will realize when you need to use it, you'll be able to use it to really change a world. And a lot of time, the most unexpected places, you'll give back to the world. So why do we need to shift? Why does this topic that is so pedantic need so much time of an hour to understand, and why we need to contribute? Now, let me tell you with a very small example. See, countries that are dependent, that are takers, are most likely depend on the countries who contribute. Now, this image that you see on the screen was how it was in Japan after a football World Cup match. It was very, very dirty and there. But what we see after is how people responded to it. Now, this is a very simple instance where the Japanese get no benefit by cleaning the stadium. They get nothing, they don't want media coverage, nothing out of it. But just by culture, everybody stands up and cleans the aspect. Take Japan after World War II. The nation was devastated, but they didn't go to seek aid from the World Banks. Instead, they developed their own contributors. They developed automobile, they developed industry. And there's no country in this world that doesn't respect the Japanese for their culture or kindness. Why I mean to say this is being a contributor is not individual specific. It even impacts at the level of a country. Building that culture of contribution, building and a respect where people do not expect something, people don't expect fame, they don't expect something in return for what they do, is extremely important. And which is why even for professionals like us in the industry, it's extremely critical to always go beyond our call of duty. When you assume, okay, I'm going to do this audit, get this money, get the credit, move to the next client, you are not really becoming a contributor. But if you go beyond your call of duty, where you see something that is going wrong in your client's book, you appraise them, you're able to make a difference by giving your client some networking links, you're able to really make a difference on how they run their business by what you know, it goes really far. In fact, for fellow professionals, when you know an account is certified as true and fair by an auditor, you blindly believe that because of the trust that the profession has imposed in you. So it's very, very important that we have fixed goals as professionals on what we need to do. And these goals should not be revolving. It's important that when you start your journey or midway through, you fix it. For example, sir said at 41, his life changed. So there is no age bracket to how we change our perspective towards these things. And now that I was doing some research on this topic of who's a giver, who's a taker, who works better. So I was going through the study which was performed extensively to see amongst this category whether you are a taker or whether you are a giver or a net giver, who performs best in their work, who really qualify. So immediately we will all say, oh, only a net giver, he'll only contribute. But to my surprise, when I read that, say, in an engineer, and an engineer who was constantly giving did not have time to finish his own work. So he severely underperformed at his work. And then if you take a medical student who was a giver, who said, I love, helping others, he could not really study well in his own exam in the process of trying to really help. So does this mean that a person who matches, because we know for a fact that when you keep taking, you cannot go far in life. There will be a time when, you get your way back, it cannot go further. But does that mean a person who matches, I take equally and I give to the same extent, like a quid pro quo is the one who is successful? But here is the twist. The twist here is in the top bracket of overachievers and in the bottom bracket of underperformers are givers. what makes the difference? In both instances, when you are a giver, it can go either way for you, where you really do well, or where you spend so much time helping that you do not know when to stop or what you can do. So, some tips if you fall in that category, what happens for most givers is that you are not careful. There can be a point when you burn out. It is very, very important to assess and see how much you can give without that burnout aspect. So, how do we protect that? I take this, there's a Fortune's best networker. His name is Adam Rifkin. He's very successful. He's a serial entrepreneur. He builds his network by networking with people. And he says to be a good giver, you have to follow the 5-minute favor rule. What it means is you don't have to be Mother Teresa or Gandhi to be a giver. Find a small way to add a large value in people's life. You go somewhere, introduce one person to another. You try to make them network. You're able to help, you're able to pass on a knowledge when someone is struggling, pass it on. You have nothing to do. You want to increase the morale of your organization, recognize somebody, send out an email to all employees recognizing that person who's really done well. In all these instances, you're not spending more than 5 minutes, but you give a lot of benefit to the person who's doing it. In fact, recently last week at work, we had a large client whose CFO was retiring and they were throwing a dinner for that CFO in a far off location. Now, naturally, we were on two minds whether we need to go, it doesn't relate to work. But we went anyway without an expectation. But what came after that is this CFO went on to another entity as a CFO and in turn appointed us to do the audit. Now, why I say this is you don't know when you're going to get that moment. You don't know when that 5-minute favor is going to happen. But what's important is constantly you have to sow the seed, you have to nurture it, you have to water it, you have to plant it and wait for the fruit to bear at the most inopportune moments. Now, where givers succeed, in the first instance, I said one is the 5-minute rule. The second and very important aspect is just because you're giving, it doesn't mean you don't need help. Constantly, we have to create an environment where people feel free to ask for help and receive it. Learning to ask for help is extremely important, irrespective of where category in the ladder you are, because you cannot achieve everything only by yourself. So now this is what I have said so far is something that everybody will know. But why don't we all contribute? Why is it that there is a differentiation? The first and most critical factor that I see is that fear of failure. Many times we assume that before taking up, we might fail. Before going up on stage to speak, we might fail and we do not take it up. What we have to remember is Thomas Edison tried 1,000 times before he figured out the light bulb. If a consumer would have given up, a contributor keeps trying. Take the story of Malala. She could not get education early on because of the Taliban rule. She did not flee and figure out education only for herself, but she created a revolution. She was shot, she went through so many hardships. But today she has a Nobel Peace Prize and is in the largest forums advocating for education. When I talk about education, it has to be both intellectual and value based. Intellectual education is for the head, value based education is for the heart. When the head and the heart go in the same direction, automatically the feet will follow. So, very, very important during this time of when there's artificial intelligence, technology, when everything is a matter of prompt. When I first saw this topic, my first instinct was to go to ChatGPT. Then I pulled myself back and said, no, this does not need a ChatGPT. Spend some time. So, it is extremely critical that we know how to use technology. See, there was a famous quote which said it was like I was riding a tiger and I did not know how to get off that tiger without being eaten. And this is not by a super achiever, but this is by Ramalinga Raju, who went through the Satyam scandal, where he had done so many aspects of mismanagement that he had to either continue or get off and be eaten. So when we talk about technology, it is very similar to that. If you know how to use it correctly, if you have the wherewithal to use it to your opportune moment, then it is good. But there are aspects of cybercrime, so many others that come when we talk about it also. The second aspect is comfort zone, and the previous speaker already spoke and said, we all seem to find our comfort zone and not go beyond that. We don't really become contributors. So at all points of time, try to find something that will push you to your outer limit to take up that, and you will enjoy the whole process and develop a core competence for it. When I talk about core competence, a person approached Dhirubhai Ambani and he said, "Sir, everybody possesses an idea. How did you become so successful? How did you change your entire enterprise? Please tell us." So Dhirubhai Ambani said, "Son, what is important is yes, you should possess an idea, correct. But what makes you truly successful is if the idea possesses you." So, very often, if you really want to do something, you need to be possessed by it and move outside your comfort zone. Only then you'll be able to achieve that. The third aspect is short term thinking. We assume that if I do this today, tomorrow I have to get a reward, and the reward doesn't come my way, then I'm not going to really continue with it. Consistency takes a lapse. If you take Infosys, it was founded by Narayana Murthy, but it took so many years for him and his team to bring it to the level at which it is today. So, character building is extremely important. You have to be futuristic, have to be value based, ethical based, and also have a positive confidence. Now, what do I mean positive confidence? Confidence itself is positive. Is there something called as a negative confidence? Let me tell you with a scenario. See, during COVID time, they wanted to award the CEO of the top IT organization. So 20 CEOs were shortlisted and they were all assembled and they had to go on a flight to the award ceremony. In the award, they will determine one CEO who's the top from the IT company. So all the CEOs have gone, they've boarded the flight. Now, when they boarded the flight, one surprise announcement comes which says the entire aircraft, in recognition of this award of it being IT company, the entire aircraft is automatically run. There is no manual intervention. So the CEOs are a little puzzled. Then the organizer goes into every CEO's ear and he says, "Sir, actually that IT technology that is used is your company technology only for this aircraft." So immediately the CEOs are getting panicky. One person gets off saying, "No, no, my wife called me." Slowly everyone is getting off the aircraft. There is a lot of fear. But there is one CEO who's sitting, he doesn't even move. So the organizers are flabbergasted by his confidence. Sir, they run to him and say, "Sir, automatically you won the award, sir. What confidence, sir? You tell us your acceptance speech." So the CEO says, "Son, it is not that I'm so positively confident. It is just that if this aircraft is run by my company software, it will not even take off. So I can slowly deboard the aircraft." So that is negative confidence. So what is important is whatever you do consistently, do your research, understand if that is the path, and be aware. Many times we don't realize that if we have the power to keep silent, we are not passing on the awareness. Somebody else is going to suffer in that process. So it's very, very important to pass on that awareness. Having said so much, let me conclude with some succinct points. How do we develop this contributor mind? The first aspect, move from what will I get to what can I give. And I'm not saying that in a philosophical manner. By practice, the more and more you become useful to somebody, the more you stand to benefit. The more you keep saying, "What can I get? What are you giving me?" you stand to lose because nobody is waiting in your doorstep to give you something. Second, start small. We assume by seeing these large contributors that they're really something, we cannot reach that. It starts small. It doesn't have to be something. Start with your office, start with your staff, as Madhukar sir said. Start with maybe joining Rotary or some organization around your community to see how you can constantly develop that skill, develop that conscience of giving. Third, very important, create more than you can consume. Dr. Kalam said the best way to learn is to teach. And we have Vijay Raja sir, who's a teacher who's always creating more than he consumes. But there are many other ways where before you consume something, see how you can create or add value for you to be positioned there and be proactive at it. There's no point in saying this is a problem, this is a problem. Start finding solutions. You automatically become useful to wherever you go. And fifth, the most important is think of it for the long term. When you contribute, it will not pay you immediately. It will not come in the level to which you contribute. Do not get phased. Consciously practice and assume in the long run, even if you don't benefit, somebody is going to benefit from it. It's very, very important to absorb, assimilate, and understand. You should always be like a mirror. Even the broken pieces of the mirror will do the act of reflecting at all points of time. So have a stiff neck from aiming high, then a hunchback by aiming low. Now, what is the difference between dream and aim? Dream requires effortless sleep. aim requires sleepless effort. So sleep for your dream, but wake up for your aim, because it is not the years in your life that matters, but the life in your years that truly count. It's always better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So I thank the organizers for having me here today to share my mind on this very valuable topic. Thank you very much, and over to the organizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for your uh, insightful and engaging session. The practical perspectives and the valuable takeaways you shared have truly enriched today's deliberation. Your contribution has added immense value to this webinar. Thank you so much, ma'am. Let me check with the questions which we have. Yes, ma'am. We have a question that what are the effective ways to cross-verify and ensure the genuineness of the supplier and their products and their learnings or whatever they give it to us?
The supplier, as in for buying a product, sir? Is that the question?
The suppliers, like whoever are giving us the education or the learnings to us.
I think going by the implicit understanding that someone is genuine is very important. Otherwise, unless you get a hunch somewhere that it is not genuine. More often than not, we question a lot of things before we get into it. Yes, in this world of online where you don't see the face of a person, it is important to cross check. But more often than not, I believe that people have the mind to give, have the mind to be genuine, and give you what you want to seek from them. Some aspects, of course, is to verify, do your due diligence, check if there are people who benefited from it before you possibly pay or go to that person. Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. So, on behalf of this our committee members in practice.
Priyanshu.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Such a wonderful talk.
Mhm.
And also, I should tell you all that thanks to this is only the second session. And Priyanshu and team has got 2,000 viewers. So we should thank the viewers. Wonderful that you have joined. Normally, when we have topics on ethics, we get sometimes even, double figures are difficult in physical seminars and triple figures are maximum in online. So this is wonderful that we have got such a engaging or engaged crowd which has joined, and thanks to all of them. Of course, it might also be because they were attracted by Vijay Raja and Divya. Divya, when you ended, I was reminded of Murli. Murli is your father-in-law, no?
Yes.
Yeah, so you have picked up something from him. I remember I have been with Murli for a long, long time. But I liked, your start was exceptionally, on the dot. If I care for you, if I have empathy for you, there's nothing beyond that. Empathy. In fact, we have a session which is going to come up on working on strengths, and in that list of empowering emotions, the first is empathy for family, the next is empathy for office, empathy for clients, empathy for others. Empathy is so important for us as chartered accountants. If we can build that well and actually care, it makes a huge difference. So thank you for bringing that out. In fact, there is a real life example available today. Starbucks is doing badly. And I think their whatever share price has fallen and all that. But if you see, they are also put a plan in place how they will come back. There's a new CEO in Starbucks who has made a plan. But I was reading that plan, I was surprised that what made Starbucks click is not there in his plan. When Starbucks started, the person who started it, of course, it was a small one, then somebody else took it over, and that person made it a success. But what he did is he started with the point that it should be having a welcoming environment in addition to the coffee, freshly brewed coffee smell when we enter Starbucks. But that welcoming environment, I have not seen. I have gone to Dubai. I have seen in Malaysia. I have seen in India, Bangalore. This welcoming environment is no longer there. It is just you pay the amount, take your coffee. So at the time when Starbucks was launched, how it became, from just a 20 store front to whatever number 10,000 or so, was because it became the third place to go other than office and home. So very important thought process there. One point which you made about that CFO, you went and met the CFO. I'll give something which is basic. I tell my office staff, take care of the accountants. You don't have to do any marketing. For example, in our office, we have no marketing budget. Though we have 600 odd people, we have 10,000 clients, none of them have come because of marketing. But we take care of the accountants. They want something, they want some training, we'll do the training for them. And the accountant, when he changes job, CFO may change 2 jobs, accountant will change 10 jobs. So we've got a whole. The CFO will be only one. There'll be 10 accountants. Remember, when I say accountant, it's not accountant. It can be the storekeeper. Everybody you come in touch in the client's place is look at them by seeing how you can help them a bit. You won't believe this. We don't pay bribes in our office for the last 37 years. But officers refer work to us. It is shocking for people to say, Arey, how can he refer work? That is because we clarify. We tell him anytime you have a doubt, you can call us. Number 2, we train officers. I personally have trained more than 10,000 officers for the first 15, 20 years of my life. After that, I've stopped. So this point of, you do good to somebody and it comes back to you is terrific. Maybe we should look at doing good to a larger number of people. And that is why I went to the institute. Actually, I had retired, but I went back for serving mainly the students and maybe also add some capacity. I liked your presentation. Though you are a young girl, I should say, the amount of humor you added into your presentation was exceedingly good. And I hope that, the talk which Vijay Raja gave, you gave, and my first 2 speakers gave will make us reach at least 3,500 in the next session. See, this is a validation for me. I am looking at 5,000 people joining this mindset change workshops and maybe reach 10,000 in another 6 months. I started with 250, but now thanks to 4 lovely speakers, 2 of them today here, I think I can dream big. Thank you very much. And I'll leave it to Priyanshu for taking it further.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of our Committee for Members in Practice, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speakers, CA Vijay Raja ji and CA Dr. Vijay Abhishek ma'am, so for their deeply inspiring words. A sincere thank to all the participants joining us today, and thank you so much, sir, for being a leader. Our chairman Madhukar Hirgange, sir, for being a leader for us. Leader like you, and will surely take it forward, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Have a wonderful week, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.